When the outdoor selling is called off on account of rain, and I leave my space covered, well, then I go off and find the places that are open, and there are great things under the pavilions. We're going to go shop one more time. But on our way over, we figured we'd give a little love to some of our friends outside who have better tents than ours and are staying open. This guy has really cool soda fountain advertising old radios. He's got great gramophones and all these old noisemakers. $175 on that in such good condition is about the right price these days. There's definitely more interest in these tabletop cylinder discs than there ever has been before too, because people realize you can record on them now. That was always a feature even way back when. The clock is fun because it actually is a radio as well. When you look back, there's the speaker in the back of it hidden away, so it serves double duty from about 1940. I always thought collecting the dice paperweights in particular was a fun subcategory within paperweight collecting. There are always these advertising pieces, but they had little dice in them, so you could play little games in your office together, or have a secret crapshoot without anybody really being any the wiser. So you could gamble illegally at work. This is a good thing to remember on a wet, cold, soggy day when I'm not getting to sell. Let's go have fun and let our mentality be excellent and have a great time. I'm liking that Blenko tangerine piece there with the big bowed out bottom. That one is priced about what you would expect these to go for. I do sometimes find Blenko at bargain prices at this show though, so I definitely always look. I always enjoyed the whole serenade with the birds. I always thought that was one of their more pleasant 1950s designs, and very good quality too. Really nice glazing. They definitely stepped up, and the price on this reflects the interest in big ashtrays. There's one for everybody at a 7-person cocktail party back in the 1950s when this was made, and back then probably 7 out of 10 people smoked. These tailor's irons with the crimpers always sell for me, so I always take a look at them. If I see them priced under about $50, I buy them every time, because I usually can get 120. I sell a lot of these out west. They're certainly known everywhere, but there were more of them in the east, of course, because there were more people at the time. And the tubes will come out so that they can be changed and heated over the coal stove so that you can keep one warm. And I don't ignore Waterford anymore. I see younger people starting to collect it again, and so that tells me that this is a time to be stocking up on it while prices are still relatively cheap. You can tell they have markdown prices on these. The decanters have been selling well for me of late, and that's probably what I should do, is buy all the decanters. And I always look to see the Waterford mark on them, because usually they have an etched mark when they're 20th century pieces like this. Nice quality. Märklin is a good German company. If you're looking for railroad items, there are definitely collectors for Märklin in this country because it is good quality, and the roundhouse is a neat piece in great condition here. As a lot of pocket watches got broken down for parts in the 1970s and 80s, L. Kirsch came up with the idea of using all the gearing and things in really fun mixed media little plaques. And they made things that look like the Tower Bridge and cars and Big Ben, and it's a fun area to collect now. And we're not too cold to have fun. I did get to run into some fun folks and viewers and people who are out selling in the cold weather this time. This is Pickled Tink. This is the first time I've gotten to meet her in person, but she has been a supporter of the channel since almost the beginning, and she's wearing a Fatbird's Fine shirt. I'm really a fan of tiles, and this is a nice one with the ship. The 3-dimension, the color, those are all good aspects about it. When Pan Am started to suffer a little bit in the era of deregulation, I Am Pan Am mugs came to try to help give their employees a boost. It was a big, hard shift in the airline industry when all of a sudden all these cheap companies could undercut them after all of their years of prestige. A fun collection of both commercial and decorative perfumes. Commercial meaning that they had some sort of a fragrance put in them by the factory. And then decorative being things like this with the guilloche top, or this really vibrant blue. This one is a gollywog, which nowadays is quite pejorative, but they are very collectible, and this would have been from the 1930s. Nice silver overlay bottle as well. How are you doing? Good, nice to see you again. How's the show been?
Good. It has been for us too, but we're out in the field where it's wet, so we decided shopping today was the thing to do. You have wonderful stuff as always. I'm always so impressed by your specialty and the quality of the stuff you get.
Thank you.
This is really beautiful with the enameling and the gold work. She has the Salviati bird stems, as you see there, and she is asking $375 for the set of 4. I have the dolphin stem compote, which I'm asking $695 for. Salviati, a very good maker of Italian glass, and all the handwork it took to make those stems is just incredible. That's why they're so collectible and valuable now, and they were not cheap when they were new either. And speaking of commercial perfumes, here's the Aphrodite set, and they kept the set even after they emptied the bottles, and thank goodness, because what a beautiful set with the original box. $140 for everything. This would be just really fun to have on a dresser. One of them is not completely used. We see a lot of 1970s Capo di Monte figures that look sort of porcelain bisquish with sort of a rough finish. But the earlier Capo di Monte was quite smooth and well finished. This particular piece with the woman holding the dog is a Bruno Merli signed piece, priced at $175. She's got a lot of the plastic wall hanging pieces from the 1960s and 70s, and there is definitely a collector audience for these, especially when they're thematic like this with the musical instruments. You see lighter colored ones from later in the 70s when the brown tones started to go out of style. This is a nice camphor wood box, hand-carved. A lot of these were made in Hong Kong and China and sent over with GIs after the Second World War. This one is priced at $145. I just sold a little Victorian Bohemian glass scent bottle, and this is a very pretty example that has all these different tiers, so a little fancier than the one I sold. Mine was ruby flash with etching and gold decoration. This one appears to be a ruby red glass all the way through, which means it used gold in the batch to get that color. And just like mine, you can see the appropriate type of wear that you would expect for a piece of glass that's 125 years old. Priced at $125.
It's one of the first lights.
Is it really?
He said that it is so...
Oh, I see. Yes. Okay. So it is a little bit, there's a wick and you've got the little light and a snuffer. So it's basically an oil lamp instead of carrying a chamber stick.
Yep.
Very interesting. That's neat. $225, and it says it's, wow.
Yep.
That's amazing. Now, when I think of vintage fashion, I think of this era. Big party dresses from the 50s and 60s. And of course, I like hats, as we know, but I'm wearing one, so I don't need to put another one on. I have a toque today because it's a little chilly. Oh, all the filigree perfumes. Yes, I sold a tapestry yesterday, but mine did not have a lobster on it. That's different. Yeah, these are very pretty.
Check.
Oh, yes, I love check jewelry. I would have every piece of that, but they have it priced right. Lots of prices in the $150 to $200 range. I like this one with the long dangles. It's hard to imagine that a lot of this stuff was relatively inexpensive when new. This big Juliana wreath pin actually has its original paper tag. They are usually missing, and Juliana did not put a mark on the pieces, so you really have to read the Diella and Lister book to really know all the different things they made. Very pretty garnet jewelry. I sold a nice 4-leaf clover pin yesterday. Bigger than this one with a hoop around it. People are starting to collect face pins from the 1980s, but of course portrait pins are nothing new. A lot of these hand-painted ones date back to the Gibson Girl era and even before, and they go back as far as the early Renaissance. And of course cameos have been around a long time too. This is an interesting one here with the musician and the dancing woman. This one's different because it has 2 figures instead of 1. This gray one here is actually cast lava as opposed to shell. That was a popular thing when people started touring near Vesuvius. back in the 1800s. I like her division of things. She has enough interesting pieces that she can have a case full of patriotic jewelry from the Second World War, for example. Oh yes, a lot of little Florenza boxes and things. Yeah, these are very, very cute. Alice Cavanis is a designer that we don't see very much of. This is actually rather high-end. And this is a very nice set here. And you see the bracelet.
For all of it.
Oh, $275 is a good price. Yeah, this is Russell Wright. This is residential, and it's Melmac. Yes, he did Melmac. There's even a child's version of this, but you don't see the patterns on them very often. There's the Russell Wright mark for home decorators. Melmac is supposed to be completely unbreakable, but it can break if you try really hard. A lot of people like this nowadays, though, because if you're doing RVing, for example, this is something lightweight, so you can have a whole set of dishes that weighs almost nothing. Wedgwood trinket box. We have a little story coming up that we're going to talk to our members about this. If you're not a member of the channel,
Please check out the memberships link under the dash line in the description of any of my videos.
if you're a level 3 member, we have a live chat once a month. And Wedgwood boxes are going to be one of the things we talk about. And there's a reason for that. I like the pressed celluloid bangle there. That looks like coral. It looks like this, but it's actually celluloid plastic. This is a very pretty rhinestone set, and it's earlier because you can see it's got the hook clasp. It doesn't have a maker name of any sort, but it's just nice looking.
And that is unsigned Vendome.
Oh, it's Vendome, okay. It had a good look to it. I thought it seemed a little nicer than the usual. How much is that?
So I'm asking 100 for this set.
Oh, and it's with the earrings, okay. I do not know the story of this Yves Saint Laurent patterned industrial chair, but it's sure interesting looking. A little different ceramic piece by Nelson McCoy with the double tubes here. They have $48.50 on that. That's from about 1930. I'm sure we cannot show these. Oh, we definitely cannot show those. You'll just have to imagine. Look at these fun painted ties from the 1950s with the horses, one in green and one in this interesting peachy color with the Crosley cravats label on them, made of pure silk. They would hand paint all sorts of stuff on ties in the 50s, and the painted ties are definitely collectible and valuable. You'd see everything from horses to, well, nude figures on them in some cases. A good day for these stadium blankets and throws and fringe. I wanted to show the horn on this. Yes, isn't that amazing with the painting and everything? It's just gorgeous. Priced at $7.95, but the horn itself just makes it. And then these are interesting. There was a company called Vogue Picture Discs that did similar things to this, but this is a different company, I believe. My First Love to Last. And this is another one that has the photo disc. This is before the type that we see in the 60s, and this one actually was produced somewhere in Europe. Here's a collectible area that a lot of people don't think of when they think of tins. These are phonograph needle tins. Lots of companies made phonograph needles because everybody had one, and you could only play a record 3 or 4 or 5 times, and then the needles would no longer work. So you had to have a whole case full of them. You see the Victor needles with the dog quite a bit because, of course, that was the big company. But all sorts of other companies made them, and they're kind of fascinating, just like other tins for other products. And they're a nice small size, so they're useful to a lot of people for other reasons these days. They have prices between $15 and $45. A very pretty painted rookwood tile with the exotic bird. There's your mark on the back there, originally from 1945. That's the Roman numeral you see. It is really fun. The fishnet is just great, and the detail in the painting is so amazing when you compare it to the Andrea by Sadek that did it later. Their stuff is good, but it just doesn't have the fineness of this. Every detail, everything matches up, and there's even a dealer sign behind. And then look at the peacock. Isn't that fun with that giant, wonderful tail? We'll gently pick it up and show you the mark on the bottom. Herend of Hungary, $285 on that piece. A lot of people are interested in Herend in this country now because we didn't really have a lot of access to it during the Cold War. Back in the day, Craftsman tools had a lifetime warranty. It lasted the entire length of Sears' existence. Now Craftsman is made overseas and does not have a lifetime warranty, but these are amazingly well made, and that's why they were willing to do that. That piece looks like it's from pre-World War II because of the curvature to the Craftsman logo there. A nice big console bowl by Lalique with the tag in the middle there. That's really neat. You don't think of Steuben as doing opaque glass very often, but those are gorgeous.
No, they didn't. They actually didn't have glass finials because I had them in dark green and yeah. Basically, what they just put a black shade on them and a pot metal finial.
Oh, okay. So the finial isn't anything specific to it.
1923.
If you're enjoying this video, please click thumbs up to like. And please join as a subscriber if you haven't. It's free, and it means that then you can click that bell to be notified of future videos and you won't miss any of the content that we bring. We try to bring you new things from interesting places in the old antique and vintage world as often as possible. So stick with us and we will have a lot of adventures together. They seem to have a whole bunch of new old stock of shaving brushes here with original boxes, as well as a lot of nice celluloid razors. The old straight razors before Gillette came up with the safety razor where you could shave yourself and didn't have to go to the barber. Although people can shave themselves with a straight razor too if they're talented. You can go to some barbershops today and be shaved with a straight razor. Compasses are always of interest to people, and just like the tire ashtrays, there are people who like the tire compasses as well. Corkscrews are an entire area, corkscrews and wine openers, of collectability of their own. Some have advertising. Some it's just about the way they're made. Some are made of bone, some are made of wood, some are turned and done professionally, some were handmade. A lot of these are pre-prohibition. Lots of fishing lures. A lot of these are basic ones you see a lot, like the Fred Arbogast Jitterbug, but it's nice to have them in their original packages. And the Hula Pop are there. But the Creek Chub Company of Garrett, Indiana, this is a big old two-part lure, $50, lovely box. The necklace in the middle intrigues me here. It is older. It's got the round loop attachment, so it could be as old as 1920s or 30s. And it's just an interesting enameling on stamped metal. I'm going to see what they want for that. Her prices are not bad. She wanted $55 for the piece that I picked up with the dangles, which if it was $10 cheaper, I'd be buying it. So I think we're not too far off from each other here. And that makes me want to look at some other things. I like the texturing of this. It's just a basic thermo set, but it's nice in the clear. Lots of fun jewelry here. I always like these with the rhinestones inset. Sometimes these have a Weiss mark. I don't see any mark on this particular set. Here's a Renoir piece that matches some other pieces that I have, and only $16. I think that might have to come with me. We'll take a look and make sure the condition is good and that the clasp works, but I think that might be a winner. I don't see a signature on it, but that does, oh, there's the signature. It's just very obscure. I just don't think in Florida the copper jewelry doesn't seem to be as highly regarded as it is elsewhere, which means I'll take this out west. Wow. This is a really neat wall pocket. This is Sandy and Little Orphan Annie. They did Betty Boop around this time too. This is Lusterware from Japan from about 1935. Oh, it's a neat piece. It was just fun to show. Look how delicate this fine mesh shade on this 1920s or 30s era floor lamp is with the woman in cameo relief. Very pretty. Who is this? This metal piece here. It's so interesting.
Yeah, it's brutalist.
Yeah, it's
Brutalist period.
absolutely cool and fun.
I think it was handcrafted.
Oh, it looks it. But a lot of those people doing this didn't take any credit for their work, I've
That's
noticed.
right.
Yeah,
That's right. It's a great piece.
It's-
It's a heavy piece.
I'm sure it weighs a ton.
Yeah.
Yes. I really like that. I think that's West Virginia glass, and I love the fact that it's satin on the bottom and all that. Yeah, this is very fun. You've got a lot of fun things. I like the perfume bottles in the back there. Wow. How much is that set?
I have it marked 400. I can do a lot less for you.
400 is a good price though, because you never see the frame and the tray is huge.
It's all in great condition.
Yeah, 100 a piece for that nowadays is a very fair price. Okay, so here's the quickie haul video from our excursion on the rain day. We actually found some pretty cool stuff. My friend got a couple of pieces of jewelry that she kept, and because she was jewelry shopping, well, so was I. I got some other stuff too, though. This is Couroc with the Kachina. This is a good piece, and I do a lot of Native American. I've sold this piece several times before in the $20 range, and it was $5. So pretty good shape, not a lot of scratches. That's important on these. There's one little abrasion to the left of, to the right of the right wing, but it's very minor. The bird is a great exotic bird flower frog, and it's got a lot of nice painting on it. The funny thing is it almost reminds me of tonalá painting, but it has a mark on the bottom that says it was $1 when it was new and that it's made in Japan from the 1930s. There's our mark there, along with the original pencil mark of its original price, and that was only $10. And then jewelry. I'm going to take him out of the way so you can see this all a little better. I bought a lot of flower power pins, I always do, but there are certain things that I look for if I can find them, and this batch, these were about $7 a piece. This one is signed Robert. Robert is actually a very good costume jewelry maker, and while these enameled pins are not considered high-end for Robert, there are people who will pay a premium for that name, so that was a good deal. This particular one, I love that the top daisy spins. I just thought that was neat, that it's got some motion. It's an unsigned piece. This pink one was just a great color, and it's Trifari crown mark from before 1970. So nice to have some signed pieces. This one's just a cute green color. This one also has a mark and some good rhinestones and the polka dots, and that's a cool piece. There is our mark on the back of that. Sometimes these have a Weiss mark, these party pastel. These are just marked, but they are cute. They were only $5. I thought that was a great price. The amber necklace here was $12. It's got enough detail with the amber and citrine stones. No, it is not uranium glass. None of those glow. Citrine does not always glow, or the citrine rhinestones, but some yellow ones do. So if that's a thing for you and you're going to a blacklight party, shine your blacklight on this stuff. You might get a pleasant surprise. Little Wedgwood oval pin here, and here is a Wedgwood trinket box. I paid $12 for the trinket box, even though it's on the small side. And there's a reason for that, because I am seeing some pretty big players in the business starting to pick these up. And I always like the pins as well. This one's just fun because it's plastic fantastic with some coloration and rhinestones. I thought that was neat. This one was just fun because it's high contrast. It'd be good on a black sweater or a dark colored shirt. And it has a butterfly. Can't go wrong with butterflies. Then in here we have micro mosaics. These are 1960s and 70s era, and they're basic designs, but they were priced very well. I don't think I paid more than $10 or $12 for any of these, and I was out of micro mosaic. And now I have those three plus an older bar pin I found recently. Made the copper jewelry that I really like. There was also a bergère piece. That's a good name, but the bergère was a little worn. These were in great shape though. Only $3 for the air clips. I just don't know how you can go wrong. I don't sell a lot of this in Florida, but I sell a lot of it out west and in the mountain states, and to people with fall coloring. And then this, I have other pieces from this set, and that one was $16, and I think she gave me $1 off. So $15 for a nice Renoir signed piece with a good clasp that works well and is not worn. You really want to look at the clasp because that outside piece shows when you wear the piece. That's why I turned down the bergère piece, because that was so worn that it made the rest of the bracelet not look so good. Even though it'd be on the underside where you think you wouldn't see it, the customer sees it, and that's what matters. So a nice little haul from a nice, fun, rainy day shopping excursion. And last but not least, I just like these inverted stones and that brilliant color of blue. And this cost somewhere in the $12 or $14 range. It was nice and big, and I figured that that would just be a real eye catcher, and I needed some more rhinestones in my case. Well, when life gives you lemons, just add rain and you have lemonade. We had a really fun time. I got to shop with my friend. I bought a bunch of really cool costume jewelry I think I can make money on. I got to film neat stuff and learn some things and show some cool things I hadn't seen before and share them with you. And you know what? It's ended up being a great day. I even sold 2 things, which is amazing because I never really opened my booth today. So life is grand. Great to have you with us, and we will see you again.
If you enjoyed this video, check out this one. Also, click thumbs up to like this video and check the description for information about our Patreon, our memberships. We've got a lot of different levels with different perks and bonus videos and early content. Also, please do check out our website, theantiquenomad.com, for appraisal help. And we'll see you again for more adventures in the antique and vintage community soon. Bye for now.